Commands are split into two parts, the preparatory command and the command of execution. For example, the command flight attention has the preparatory command flight, which prepares the flight for the command, and the command attention that tells the flight what command to do. All commands must be given at the position of attention and while facing the formation of the flight.
Flight change, hut!
The way a command is called affects the way the movement is executed. A correct command has basic characteristics of snap, projection, distinction, inflection, and loudness. The command should be loud enough for everyone in your flight to hear it clearly and effectively. One way to amplify this is to be centered on your flight, use your diaphragm, and use a change in pitch in the voice. Having snap and inflection in your voice makes sure the flight executes the movement exactly when you want the flight to.
Cadence is the measure or beat of a movement. When marching, your commander will call cadence to keep the rhythm of march. The proper way to call cadence is by calling hut, toop, threep, forp. Hut, toop, threep, forp. Hut and threep are called on the left foot, while toop and forp are called on the right. This helps keep your unit in step, especially when it comes to different marching commands. Cadence also pertains to the execution of the command. For the command right flank, the proper foot to call the command of execution on is as the right foot strikes the ground.
The position of attention. The command is flight attention. On the command attention, heels will be brought together to form a 45-degree angle. Legs will be slightly bent, body is upright with shoulders square and even. Arms will be alongside the seams of your pants, thumbs pointed downwards, and hands cupped like you are holding a roll of quarters. Forearms will be extended and wrists straight with the forearms. Your head will be straight and parallel to the ground, and your eyes will not move.
The command is parade rest. On the command rest, raise the left foot from the hip just enough to clear the ground and move it smartly to the left so the heels are 12 inches apart, as measured from the inside of the heels. Legs are slightly bent but not stiff. Palms are facing outwards, and the right hand will rest in the palm of the left hand. Right thumb over the left to form an X. Head is straight ahead, and you will remain silent and immobile.
The command at ease. This is a relaxed standing position, but the right foot must remain in place. Silence is maintained, as well as dress, cover, interval, and distance. The command is rest. Same requirements as at ease, but you can talk at a quiet conversational tone.
The commands are right or left face. On the command face, you will turn on the ball of the right or left foot and the left or right heel. Legs will be straight but not stiff. You will maintain the position of attention as you execute this movement. Once you turn, bring your heels together to form a 45-degree angle so that you are now at the position of attention. The command about face is how one will turn around 180 degrees. The command of execution is face. On this command, you will bring your right foot behind and slightly to the left of your left heel. Distribute your weight on the ball of your right foot and turn 180 degrees to the right. Once the pivot is complete, your feet will be at a 45-degree angle and you will now be at the position of attention.
The command present arms is the command used to salute while in formation. On the command arms, you will bring your right hand smartly up your body, fingers extended, palm slightly tilted forward, and with the tip of the middle finger to the outer right corner of your eyebrow. The rest of the body will be at attention. If you are wearing glasses, the tip of the middle finger will be on the front corner of the frame of the glasses. The command order arms is the command to drop your salute. On the command arms, you will lower your hand and your arm towards the right side of your body. In one fluid motion, you will close your hand and assume the position of attention. When a command is given from the halt, you will always step off with your left foot. All movements will begin with the left foot unless you are calling a right step or close march. When marching, the preparatory command and command of execution are given on the foot of the direction you will be going. The preparatory command and command of execution will be given as the heel of the foot strikes the ground.
The command to form a flight is fall in. The first element will fall in 3 paces in front of the flight commander. The first element falls in directly to the left of the guide. Once halted, we'll also execute an automatic dress right dress. Remaining members will fall into the flight and execute dress right dress to establish dress and cover.
The command is fall out. You can relax in a standing position, can remain in the immediate area, and moderate speech is permitted.
To align the flight, the command will be dress right dress. On the command dress, each cadet will raise their left arm up and extend their fingers. If you have no one next to you on your left, you will not raise your arm. Everyone except the element leaders will turn their head 45 degrees to the right. The remaining members will align themselves to the right in line with the element leaders. Once properly aligned, the flight commander will command ready front. On the command front, everyone will lower their arms and turn their heads straight, assuming the position of attention. The command at close interval, dress right, dress. The same procedures apply for dress right, dress, but instead of raising their arms fully extended, the arms will snap to their side with elbows pointing out. While in column formation, you can align the flight with the command cover. On the command cover, you will use short, choppy steps to establish dress, cover, interval, and distance. You will dress to the right and to the cadets in front of you.
To march forward, the command forward march will be given. You will step off with your left foot, taking 24-inch steps from heel to heel. Hands will be cupped and thumbs pointed down. Arm swings will be coordinated with 6 inches to the front and 3 inches to the rear. Proper dress, cover, interval, and distance will be maintained while marching. Cadence will be called. Counts 1 and 3 will be on the left foot, while 2 and 4 will be on the right. To stop marching, the command flight halt will be given as either foot hits the ground. On the command halt, you will take one additional 24-inch step, stop, and bring your heels smartly together to form a 45-degree angle and assume the position of attention.
The command is change step march, given on the right foot. On the command march, you will take one additional 24-inch step, then place the ball of the right foot alongside the heel of the left foot with suspended arm swing, then step off with your left foot. The upper portion of the body will be at attention throughout this movement. The command is half step march, can be given as either foot strikes the ground. On the command march, you will take one additional 24-inch step and then continue marching with 12-inch steps. Coordinated arm swing will be maintained. To resume marching with 24-inch steps, the command is forward march, which is called on the left foot. On march, you will take one additional 12-inch step followed by 24-inch steps.
The command is mark time march. While marching, march can be given as either foot strikes the ground. You will take one more step in quick time and then start raising and lowering each foot. Toes will be pointed toward the ground and arm swing will be maintained. This is similar to marching in place. From a halt, on the command march, you will simply march in place, raising and lowering each foot off the ground approximately 4 inches. To resume marching, the command is forward march as the left heel strikes the ground. You will take one more step in place and then step off with a full 24-inch step with your left foot.
The command is right or left step march. This command can only be given from the halt when moving short distances. On the command march, you will take 12-inch steps to either the right or left. You will continue sidestepping until the command flight halt is called. You will call this command as the feet come together. After the command halt, you will take one more side step and then bring the heels together and assume the position of attention.
The command is to the rear march, as the right foot strikes the ground. On the command march, you will take one 12-inch step with the left foot, pivot on the balls of your feet to the right, turning 180 degrees, take one additional 12-inch step with the left foot, and then continue marching with 24-inch steps. During this movement, arm swing will be suspended until you march off in the new direction. The command is right or left flank march. The command will be called on the foot of the direction you are going to. For a left flank, it will be the left foot, and then for a right flank, the right foot. On the command march, you will take one more 24-inch step, and then pivot on the ball of your foot to the new direction simultaneously.
The command is count off. In column, from front to back. On the command off, the element leader and the rest of the rank turn their heads 45 degrees to the right, and in unison call out 1 over their right shoulder in a normal tone of voice. This continues until all ranks are accounted for. The command is open ranks march. It is only given in line formation. On the command march, the third element stands fast. The second element takes one step with the left foot, halts, and automatically executes a dress right dress. The first element takes 2 steps with the left foot, halts, and automatically executes a dress right dress. The flight commander then goes to align the flights. The flight commander then marches 3 paces to the right of the guidon, commands ready front, takes one step forward and then executes a right phase. To close ranks, when it open ranks, the command is close ranks, march. On the command march, the first rank stands fast. The second rank takes one pace forward with coordinated arm swing and halts at the position of attention. The third take 2 paces forward and halt at attention.
When calling individuals out of ranks, the command is cadet blank, front and center. Upon the command front and center, the individual takes one step backwards and uses the most direct path to halt 1 pace in front of the flight commander, salutes, and reports as directed. The individual called up steps forward with their left foot while the past flight commander takes 1 step backwards with their right foot. The old flight commander will salute and request to return to ranks. The individual lowers their salute, does an about face, and uses the same route to the same position in the ranks.
The command is column right march. This command is called as the right foot strikes the ground. On the command march, the third element leader will pivot 90 degrees to the right and continue marching with half steps. The second element leader will pivot 45 degrees to the right, take 2 steps, and pivot another 45 degrees to the right to catch up to the third element leader. The first element leader will pivot 45 degrees to the right, take 4 steps, and pivot another 45 degrees to the right to catch up to the second element leader. To resume marching, the command is forward march. To execute a column left, while marching, the command is column left march. On the command march, the first element leader will pivot 90 degrees to the left and continue marching with half steps. The second element leader will pivot 45 degrees to the left, take 2 steps, and pivot 45 degrees to the left to catch up with the first element leader. The third element leader will pivot 45 degrees to the left, take 4 steps, and pivot 45 degrees to the left and catch up with the second element leader. The guide will perform pivots and steps exactly as the third element leader. Pivot 45 degrees to the left and right, and then resume their position in front of the flight. From the halt, you will do a face while marching movement and execute a column left.
To obtain close intervals between falls while at column or marching, the command is close march. On the command march at the halt, all at the same time, the third element stands fast, the second element takes 2 steps, and the first element takes 4 steps. To close while marching, on the command march, given on the right foot, the third element begins half step. The second element pivots 45 degrees to the right on the left foot, takes 1 step and pivots 45 degrees to the left on the right foot and begins half step. The first element pivots 45 degrees to the right on the left foot, takes 3 steps and pivots back to the left 45 degrees on the right foot and begins half step. To resume march, the command is forward march. To extend from the halt, it will be the same as close march, but in the opposite direction. To extend from marching, it will be the same as close march while marching, but in the opposite direction. The commands for both will be extend march.
For column of files, the command is column of files from the right or left, forward march. On the command forward, the element leader of the right or left element will turn their head 45 degrees to the right or left and command forward, and the rest of the elements will command stand fast. Their heads will be kept to the right or left until they step off. On the command march, the right or left element will step off and the other elements in sequence will command forward march as each element passes. To form a column of threes, the command will be column of threes to the left. On the command to the left, the first element leader will turn their head 45 degrees to the left and command stand fast. The other element leaders will turn their head 45 degrees to the left and command column half left. The flight commander then commands march, and each element will execute a column half left and a column half right. Each element leader will halt their own element and call cadence.
These commands can be given as either foot strikes the ground. The first command is route step march. Marching in this command does not require silence or cadence. Movement is permitted as long as dress cover interval and distance is maintained. The second command is at ease march. Marching in this command does not require cadence, but silence, dress, cover, interval, and distance must be maintained. Movement is allowed.
The command is double time, march. When marching, on the command march, you will take one more step in quick time, then step off into double time. To resume quick time from double time, the command is quick time, march, with 4 steps in between quick time and march. On the command march, you will take 2 more steps in double time and then resume quick time. Arms will be lowered to the side and continue with coordinated arm swing.
If you are marching and improperly call a command, the command "as you were" can be called to tell the flight to not execute the wrong command. This command can be used to correct yourself while marching the flight.
1, 2, 3, 4, squadron. As you were. Flight. Hold.
The command is counter march, given on the left foot. On the command march, the first element leader takes 4 steps, executes a 90-degree pivot to the right, marches beyond the third element leader, executes a 90-degree pivot to the right, and continues marching in half step. The second element leader takes 2 steps, pivots 90 degrees to the right, marches between the third element leader, and executes another 90-degree pivot to the right. After pivoting, they will continue marching next to the first element leader in half step. The third element leader takes 1 step, pivots 90 degrees to the left, marches past the second element, and pivots 90 degrees to the left, and continues marching in half step. The guide will execute exactly the same as the third element leader, staying in front of the third element leader. Once all elements are in line, the flight commander will call forward march.
To align the squadron formed in line, the squadron commander orders dress flights to the right. On this command, the flight commanders face about and, beginning with the base flight, dress the flight immediately with the command dress right, dress.
Dress right. Head.
The base flight commander promptly verifies the alignment of ranks. Then given ready front. Each subsequent flight commander's flight is dressed to the right as soon as the preceding flight commander halts and faces down the line of the first element.
The squadron is formed in line with flights in line by the command fall in.
Squadron. Fall in.
On the command fall in, the squadron forms in 2 or more flights with normal interval in between individuals. The deputy of the flight will report to the flight commander the accountability of the flight. The command is cadet blank, blank flight, all present or accounted for. If you have individuals missing, you can say the number of cadets present with the exception of the missing cadets. The squadron commander will then command deputy receive the report. The squadron deputy will then command report and take accountability of each flight and then report it to the squadron commander.
When calling squadron commands, the flights will echo the preparatory command. When in column formation, the squadron commander will call column right, and the leading flight commander will echo the command, and the rest of the flight will command forward. The squadron commander then commands march, and the leading flight will execute a column right, while the other flights will call the command as necessary.
Column right. March.
To open ranks, squadron commander will command prepare for inspection. The flight commanders then will command open ranks march from left to right.
Prepare for inspection. Open right. March.
They will align their flights and command ready front.
Right up. Hut.
Prior to moving as a flight, the cadet flight commander will command, road guards, don your gear. While approaching an intersection, approximately 10 paces away, the cadet flight commander will command, road guards out. The road guards will run from the rear of the flight, safely move ahead of the flight, and safely proceed into the intersection to stop traffic. If required, the cadet flight commander can call the specific amount of road guards out of the flight. If vehicles are proceeding through the intersection, the road guards will raise their hands and the cadet flight commander will halt the flight. The road guards will then allow the vehicle to pass through the intersection and then proceed into the roadway to stop any other traffic while the cadet flight commander marches through the intersection. After the flight passes through the intersection, the cadet flight commander will command road guards in without halting the flight. At the command of road guards in, The road guards will return to the rear of the flight. When arriving at the flight's final destination, the cadet flight commander will command, "Road guards, secure your gear." Road guards will then stow their gear in preparation for the flight's next task.
The guidon sets the direction and cadence of march. The position of the guide within a flight in line, column, marching, or halted is to the right of the formation. In column, the guide is positioned in front of the element leader on the base file. When in line formation and commanded to face to the right, the guidon will execute a right face. Perform a right face while marching, march to the base file, and then execute a left face. The guide does not change from this position unless halted in line formation.
Order guidon is the position of attention. The guidon bearer holds the guidon in a vertical position and keeps the ferrule on the ground beside the right shoe. You hold the staff of the guidon with your right hand in the shape of a V. The staff will rest against your shoulder. Carry guidon is the position in which the ferrule is 6 inches from the ground. When the preparatory command is given, you will raise the guidon with your left hand and then resume the position of attention. Parade rest is executed by sliding the hand up the staff and inclining the staff of the guidon forward at arm's length with the hand at waist level. To execute present guidon when at carry or order guidon while marching or at a halt, on the preparatory command present, the guidon bearer raises the guidon vertically until the right arm is fully extended. At the same time, the left hand is brought smartly across the chest to guide the staff. On the command arms, the guide will lower their right arm until the guidon is parallel to the ground and then cutting the left hand away to the side. When at order or carry, the guide can individually salute by raising the left arm parallel to the ground and against the front of the staff.
Cadet group, squadron, and flight commanders are responsible for coordinating and monitoring overall appearance and activities within their respective area. The flight commander is responsible for execution of the daily schedule, are on time for events, and reports attendance to the squadron commander. The squadron commander is responsible for the flights underneath their command. They report to the group commander. The group commander is responsible for the overall well-being of each squadron. Cadet group, squadron, and flight deputies are responsible for the assembly of their respective unit with the addition of receiving and giving accountability to the flight, squadron, or group commanders. Cadet group, squadron, and flight drill and ceremony officers are responsible for training their respective unit on drill, reveille, and retreat, and the evaluation of their performance. They make sure each flight, squadron, or group are in compliance with the Air Force Manual 36-2203. Cadet group, squadron, and flight standardization officers are responsible for standardizing their respective unit. They conduct spot checks on flights. They ensure their flight are standardized and reports discrepancies to their deputy. Cadet group, squadron, and flight academic officers are responsible for receiving feedback for the flight and ensuring cadets within their unit know the lessons and academics required of them. They also ensure cadets are caught up if they should miss curriculum. Cadet group, squadron, and flight physical fitness officers are responsible for the safety and adequacy of athletic areas, ensure flight members know procedures for exercising, and relay rules and protocols. Cadet element leaders are responsible for each cadet in their element. They also will call safety should there be any obstacles in the path of the flights. They report problems or concerns within their flight to the flight deputy or flight commander. Cadet Flight Safety Officer ensures the flight is briefed on safety procedures, evacuation plans, and fire reporting procedures. Carries road guard equipment to all activities, first aid kits and water to PT events, and flashlights when traveling during late evening and early morning activities. Cadet Flight Supply Officer is responsible for making sure the cadets in their flight have all the required materials for them. They will organize and distribute items in accordance with the standardization.